back to the C Morning Show right here on C. Today we're on the second leg of our talk show mark right now. Now, according to the Malala Fund, over 130 million girls worldwide are uneducated. Now, these girls usually marry and have children at a young age, working unpaid or low-paying positions, and rely on their husband or families for economic support.
That's right, Caroline. And education is such a key to women's empowerment to have better access and opportunities in the workforce, better incomes, and less isolation at home or exclusion from financial decisions. Now, only through education that women can live their dreams and pursue their own goals and values.
Amen to that. Now, let's delve into this topic and discuss it with someone who has an initiative to accelerate women's empowerment in Indonesia through education with her nonprofit organization called Empower Indonesia, Marina Cellina Wijaya. Good morning or good evening to you, Celine. Now, we know that you are right now currently in Harvard. You're taking your master's degree there. Thank you so much for taking your time. Yes, so we want to know more about your initiative, Empower Indonesia. As we know right now, Indonesia is already powered, I think, in regards to the women and also the human resources. Now, of course, with the help of Empower Indonesia, we're going to go full throttle on this. So please share with us the journey of Empower Indonesia.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me here to represent Empower, which is very close to my heart. And thank you, Carol and Rasha. So Empower started when I was accepted for a scholarship to pursue master's study abroad, which I'm doing now currently. I'm in Cambridge, Massachusetts, pursuing my master's degree at Harvard University. And my journey went viral on social media, on some news outlet as well, particularly because of the fact that I had a one-year-old baby. So I'm a mother.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yay.
Congratulations
Yeah.
to you. My
Thank you.
goodness.
So, you know, in some countries, it might be something that you see normally, but as we know and we experience in Indonesia, it's something that is still not normal.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was accepted, there were some negatives to the positives as well.
Really?
Yeah.
So can
So
you...
what I had,
Yeah,
I
please
mean,
go ahead.
I realized, I realized that what I had, what I still have right now is a privilege. For a woman in Indonesia, it is a privilege to have a supportive partner, to have a supportive
Yes.
family that allows you to continue your education even after marriage. I call it a privilege
Yeah.
because it's not what everyone has, and not
Correct.
everyone can have it. So, how does one make this privilege the norm? It is a complex issue, of course, but we have to start, at least in my opinion, by changing people's perspective. So Empower was born from this idea to help accelerate women's access to education in Indonesia, starting with our scholarship program specifically for women.
Wow. Now, I think your organization is definitely trying to solve such a complex issue. Now, can you actually paint a picture of the literacy condition or education condition of young women in Indonesia? You probably have seen the state of it through your research, and then you come up with this organization. Can you share with us more on the current situation here in Indonesia?
In Indonesia, of course, literacy and education for girls has been improving actually for the past several years. So the government has had really great initiatives and policies in place, but there is still inequality when we compare it to boys. And of course, this is a multifactorial, complex issue, like you said. And there are several challenges for this. For example, lack of access to education in some rural and less developed areas, lack of schools nearby, are barriers to actually go to school, so geographical barriers. And then there's lack of financial resources, of course, poverty. And specifically for girls now, there are cultural norms and gender roles, traditional gender roles, which are very detrimental for girls. And of course, we have early marriage and pregnancy. So for me, I think that can sum up the state of the art of education, of girls' education and literacy in Indonesia right now. And I also have a data that we have published in Empower's Instagram. If you guys are interested in reading it, according to the World Bank, in Indonesia, the top reason that girls drop out of school is actually not having enough money to continue school. So insufficient funds. And that's why we have our scholarship program because we are trying to tackle that issue. So the government can support it, of course, by providing free education for women or financial aids or scholarships specifically for women.
Yeah. And because you're stating that data to us, we also want to read you one data by UNICEF, if you don't mind, Celine. It stated there, for every 10 children that drop out of school at the secondary level, 7 are girls out of 10. One of the primary reasons for this is because of early marriages and the stereotypical mindset of the society. So this is the norm right here in Indonesia or in any developing countries. How can we tackle this? Of course, I mean, an organization like Empower itself, but it seems, and especially in the rural areas, is where it's really concerning, and that should be our main focuses. What's your opinion and what's your take on this?
Well, I agree with that findings of UNICEF that early marriage is a major contributor to the high dropout rates among girls specifically. Although I stated previously that in Indonesia, the World Bank data that we posted on Empower, that the highest cause of dropout is financial insufficiency.
Right.
But child marriage is also another cause of discontinuing education that disproportionately impacts women. So if you actually see the table, the data, 12% of the reasons female students drop out was marriage.
Yeah.
Compared to men, it was 0 point something percent. So that's such a huge jump. Like the difference for male, it's 0. For women, it's 12%.
Yeah.
So I believe that this takes a different approach than the root cause, that is financial insufficiency. For example, when we're talking about culture, of course, it's something that's rooted deep. So we can do this by raising awareness about the negative consequences of early marriage and then implementing laws and policies that can protect and help supplement the rights of girls and women to receive education. And of course, when you look at the actual root cause that people get married early, especially for families that are financially insufficient, it's to get out of poverty, right? Like economic needs. So we have to give options to these girls aside from marriage. When their family says, okay, it's time for you to be out of our responsibilities, the option is not marriage. It's not just marriage. You can go to vocational schools, have trainings, or the government can start providing microfinancing options for these women.
So we need to find options. In regards though, Cellina and Rasha, it seems the data both from UNICEF and World Bank really align, because you were saying that these girls drop out because insufficient fund. And again, from UNICEF, it seems because it's stereotype, this is somewhat of a culture, right? And if in a community, you have girls that's, let's say 12 or 13, 14 and above, I think you're ready to be married because your neighbors, your families, the neighborhood or the community is so common to this. And I think my daughter should do it too. So we're not going to be the awkward one in the community itself. And you were saying because that insufficient fund, the easy way is for you to be married and you have a husband to be responsible for you. And then also being responsible to us now as a family itself. So I think the one that's really causing this is we need to shift the mindset of the parents.
Exactly.
That's where the roots are.
And I think if we're looking at it also, at the end of the day, it's about having financial stability, financial safety. If we look at the data from Empower or from the UNICEF, you mentioned insufficient fund, UNICEF mentioned marriage, but the marriage itself actually to solve the insufficient fund.
Rather
I
than a
think,
choice.
Rather than a choice,
Yes.
right? So it's all about financial safety and financial security. Now your organization actually provides a solution to that. That is providing scholarship to these women, and this can actually be a solution also for parents to see that, oh, like we can get out of poverty, we can get out of these financial difficulties through these programs that allows my children to go to school without having to sacrifice their life to a marriage. So can you share us more about your scholarship program?
Okay. It started in 2021. So the scholarship is actually Empower's first program. And we collaborate with kitabisa.com. And of course, like you said, the scholarship was created to address to the problem described about insufficient funds. And we designate the scholarship specifically for women because for me personally, I believe that women is still a disadvantaged group when we're talking about education. So when we have a disadvantaged part of the population, we need to increase our reach and attention for this group. And so this scholarship for women was created. And when we opened our registration, there were 800, more than 800 applicants.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was just our first batch, and we are only a small organization for now,
Yeah.
but 800 girls applied.
Yes.
So that's amazing for me. And also because this scholarship, it's financed by our Celengan Berdaya Empower, so it's a fundraising as well. And so far we have accumulated 50 million rupiah. That might be a lot, that might be not, but we managed to, now we have 2 awardees. So there's one girl who's from the STEM, she's in computer science, and one is from social science. And well, I personally read through the hundreds of essays and I interviewed the women who were chosen. And what really moved me and would move you all, that mostly it's the same issue that we were talking about, but we're seeing it in practice, in reality. They're telling me that, for example, there's one of the girl who wanted to pursue education in Java because, of course, in Indonesia, if you want good education, you go to Java, right? She's from outside Java, and she said that her family asked her to get married instead because they don't have the funds to support her to travel to Java to study there. And she applied for our scholarship, and she was one of the awardees. So for me, seeing that in real life, that really motivates me to hopefully this organization can be something that can have a huge impact on that problem.
Really, Empower really changes and empowers Indonesian women for sure. I mean, it seems you already found the solution right there, and we're seeing it live also. So take us through the process. With the scholarship, is it only for those that had already finished their high school, or is there any, let's say for someone that's still undergoing elementary school or junior high school, where does this scholarship caters?
We focused, for our first batch, we focused on girls who are still enrolled in university.
Okay.
So, because we cannot reach everyone, so we decided to focus on higher education because that is also one of the most problematic areas when talking about female education.
Yeah.
So in Indonesia, actually the enrollment rates for primary, secondary, high school is already quite good, you can say, but can always improve, of course. But for higher education and globally as well, the rates of enrollment is it's very far from male. So that's why we decided to focus on the women who are enrolled in university.
Right, and Empower Indonesia is also actually registered to the Harvard Innovation Lab, right? Could you please elaborate more on that?
So, of course, that is one of the opportunities that came with being a student at Harvard, Harvard Innovation Lab, is essentially an incubator. Uh, it is an institution that provides resources and supports for um, entrepreneurs, students, or basically any innovators who are developing something. Either it's a new technology, a business, an organization, and the program gives us access to various resources within the Harvard environment, which can be mentorship, training, even funding and grants, as well as, of course, the network, which is important. And being in Harvard Innovation Lab has really accelerated the the growth of Empower. I mean, we're not even 1 year old, but we have grown to be so big. Yeah, it started with only 3 people, with me personally reading through all the essays, and now we have 32 structural members.
Right, there you go. If you
Wow.
really have an initiative, right, and
Yeah.
you work through it, then you could conquer it. One more for me though, Celine, because I think this is very important. You were saying you're giving the scholarship to these girls, and they can pursue their dreams and their goals and visions and their education. But like you, what you went through is the environment plays a big role to this. So then educating the parents itself and the family is also very important. So one girl could get a scholarship from Empower, but not supported by the family. It's also going to be hard for her.
Yes.
Now you also in Empower gives a program to the parents to educate the parents. Why is this important, especially as one-year initiative also in your institution?
Well, it's not only just educating the parents. We are actually targeting the whole population.
Oh,
We're
that's
educating
amazing.
everyone.
Yeah.
So that's why the programs designed in Empower, we also have a community. It's open to everyone,
Okay.
and we always emphasize this: men and women of any age. We even put the men in front because
That's smart.
for me, I believe in tackling gender equality for empowerment. It cannot just be us women
Correct.
screaming at the system saying that we deserve equality. No, we have to have a conversation with the men. We have to include the different perspectives and voices and come to a similar understanding to why this is important and why this should be achieved. So that's the programs at Empower, open to everyone, men and women, and not just specifically for parents, but we believe that because we don't limit the age group as well, there are people in high school joining, which is amazing. I mean, to be a girl in high school, to have that already openness of mind. And then there are, of course, mothers, maybe young mothers who saw my viral story and became interested in Empower as well. So that huge variance in our population is also really helpful.
So whatever age, whatever situation and condition you are, you can never lose your dream and hopes.
Yeah. And I think like you have the recipes of growing this organization to such a great length. First of all, your own story is viral, and a lot of people actually come to her because they feel inspired. Second of all, you've created a sort of case studies for Harvard to see as well, and now you are basically incubated in this amazing organization that is able to give you the mentorship, the fun, and everything, right? So it's amazing to see now. What do you think is next for you, and what do you hope to take your organization to go in the future?
Okay, so we're, like I said, we're not even 1 year old yet. Empower is maybe in 2 months will be 1 year old. But now we have 5,000 followers and 170 plus community members, and we have various products, and we have a podcast even. And our first episode is actually male's perspective on gender equality. The speaker is a guy. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out.
We'll definitely gonna
Definitely.
check that out.
Yeah, we're still very, very young, and we're still very much in the testing phase, but hopefully well, dream big, right?
Of course.
I wanted to create Empower to be an foundation in the future, and I want to expand the scholarship recipients, of course, because we only had the means to provide a scholarship for two people. But hopefully, of course, with the increase of the fundraising that we have the Celengan Berdaya Empower, and of course, being invited to see today news, and hopefully people will be more aware, more people will be more aware with our efforts. It can increase the amount in the fundraising. And we wanted to create an Empower Academy.
Oh, wow.
It will be an
Okay.
environment for girls we chose the crucial age of high school to provide support, mentorship, and resources, essentially their own incubator for them to go to higher education. So now we're delving straight into the issue that we talked about, that the enrollment rate up until high school is good, but no one is actually going to college.
Yeah.
So the Empower Academy will be the guide that we will guide and hand in hand with these girls to provide them, to pave the way for them to higher education.
All right, so definitely Empower is walking the talk. And even though you just said you're still new, not even 1 year, but you're really making a powerful impact right here for both men and women of Indonesia, for them to strive for their future, especially through education. So really kudos to you. Celine, you're a mom who is right now undergoing your master's degree in Harvard with your organization Empower. You truly empower us today, this morning, and really success to all your endeavors in life.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank you.
you.
Well, hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much,
Celine.
Celine.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Oh,
guys.
she's really inspiring. by
I
the
know,
way.
right? And she's a mom. She's at Harvard right now.
She has a baby.
She has a baby. And for those of you who are interested, in providing funds for the scholarship and whatnot, or educating yourself in terms of education, women empowerment, definitely check our Instagram at empower_ID. Everything is there. You can see. Whoa, feeling so inspired and
Enlightened, right?
empowered, yes. But we're going for another quick break now. But after the break, we'll have more updates from sports and entertainment as well. In the meantime, don't forget to follow us on our social media account if you haven't already. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at See Today News. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.